Welcome back to Field Target Hunter Division 101, where you and I learn about the HFT world together. Before we get to that, I'd like to announce a new way to support the channel. You can always visit targetforge.net. We love helping you get the most enjoyment possible out of your trigger time. We are adding Patreon to the mix as a way to help me provide you this content. You can find the link in the description below. Even $1 a month helps to keep the machine moving forward. For those in the know, we also do Amazon affiliate linking as well. You'll find links below to many of the items featured on this channel. Know that I will only feature items I actually use and believe have value for you and me. I wouldn't have it any other way. Let's get to it. My friend sent me a text a few days ago and asked, what's the advantages and disadvantages of a Nautilus or comma wheel versus a round wheel? Is it just shooter preference? To answer this, let's dive into the Parallax wheel itself. When shooting field target, the range to the target is unknown. In order for the shooter to deliver a pellet to that hit plate on the field target course, he or she needs to know the distance fairly accurately to judge holdover. Most US field target matches cap power at 20 foot-pounds. Even a relatively flat shooting 177 pellet is going to be 4 MA low at 10 yards and at 0 at 30 and 4 MOA low at 55 yards. So knowing the distance to the target accurately makes the probability of a hit go up. That's what we're after, right? The Parallax wheel on many, if not most scopes, is not linear. From 10 to 15 yards, lots of rotation is required to span these distances, which is great. It gives us lots of room to get a crisp image, yielding very predictable, repeatable focus results. From 20 to 38 yards or so, depending on your gun and pellet choice, there is little holdover needed. So in this area, discerning range impacts accuracy less. From approximately 38 to 55 yards, things get more challenging for the shooter. In this range of, ranges, the amount of rotation of the Parallax wheel reduces considerably. Remember I said nonlinear? The Nautilus wheel, or comma as some suppliers call them, attempt to address this reduction of wheel rotation by increasing the radius of the surface the ranges are written on in this range. So they attempt to give the shooter more distance between his markings right on the wheel. This is an attempt to correct or mitigate that non-linear effect that's present in many optics. A simple round wheel can still be useful if it's big enough to make the tight markings spread out more. The tight markings are easy to read. The close ranges are exaggerated even more, but that's okay. I have a very nice design for a simple round wheel I have uploaded for free on the Prusa printing world, if you have a 3D printer. I really like this wheel and believe my turret mount for the Element Helix is class leading, but I'm biased. I used the wheel for many matches and found it suitable. In fact, quite good. Then we get into a class of wheel called off-axis, which is sort of a cross between the two. The shorter radius is used down where the space between the markings is greater, and the radius increases as we get closer to 55 yards. I would say the difference between off-axis wheels and Nautilus or comma wheels is likely more subjective and up to the shooter. I have a Scopeworks Nautilus on my Springer and an off-axis wheel by JD Designs. JD's magnetic hub is class leading to me. Easy on, easy off, attractive to the eye, rock solid registration every time. I really like it. I will probably work on adapting my turret mount to his hub, and I feel it is just slightly better, but more on that later. The next line of question he asked me was about size of the wheel or comma. I think from a practical standpoint, this has a lot to do with whether or not you have a magnetic hub. Why does that matter? Two principal reasons. Finding a case that will hold your rifle with that giant wheel on it, and the amount of stress that big wheel can apply to the scope when you try to close that case, travel with it, kick it around, etc. To me, the magnetic hub makes large wheels largely a non-issue for scopes because the wheel pops right off when it goes in the case and only gets mounted at a match or during practice. Knowing that, I recommend going big on the wheel. Makes the system more selectable, easier to read, etc. Hey everybody, one more thing on Parallax wheels before you go. I have found that using gaffer tape, and some are going to ask, what the heck is gaffer tape? Gaffer is used by gaffers. Gaffers are electricians and sound guys on theater sets and movie sets, and they use this tape to get wires stuck down to the floor really good so they don't create a trip hazard. The important thing about this tape is the adhesive releases super clean, so it doesn't build up a bunch of gum and gook on your wheel. So when you want to change pellets or whatever, something that are change scopes or readjust your markings on these, you can just peel the old tape off, put new tape down. It's really, really easy. It also takes pen markings very, very well. This wheel here has gaffer tape. This wheel has gaffer tape. This wheel has regular vinyl tape, same as you would get with white electrical tape or anything like that. And honestly, it does not hold up nearly as well as the gaffer tape does in use. You can see how these numbers have faded quite a bit in use. I have this in the Amazon affiliate link down in the description below. And also the pens that I recommend, which is this Staedtler. Their permanent special Lumacolor pen in black, I think is just freaking awesome. It's only slightly better than the Sharpie, but I really think the tips on these allow me to write neater than the Sharpie does. The Sharpie tends to dump a lot of ink and get bleedy kind of lines. This, I think, just really makes nice clean markings. So these are my two recommendations for laying out your ranges to get really, really accurate shots. I hope you found this talk about Parallax wheels helpful. Chime in the comments below with what you like and why. Each of us probably has a solution they favor for one reason or another. Let me know. Please consider becoming a Patreon supporter of this channel for more airgun content, and head over to targetforge.net to find innovative, cool targets to get even more fun out of your trigger time. Be a light in the darkness. Believe me, it matters.